Should you buy a house now, October 2024? We are going to answer the question today. Should you buy a house this month? Should you wait? Should you buy? What is the data showing us? And should you be buying a home in North Carolina, considering all of these hurricanes that are decimating cities there? And we're going to get into some rapid fire questions at the end of the video that will help you decide whether you should be buying a home right now. If you get some valuable in this video, make sure you leave a like. Angelo, are you ready?
Let's do it, man. Let's get to it.
Angelo, we got some new mortgage application data, and my question to you is, what is the message for people considering buying a home this month?
So I know you're going to think I sound like a broken record because I do mortgages for a living. I own a mortgage company. The answer to this question is 100% undoubtedly yes, because it's not going to be getting really any better when it comes to inventory. I've said it before, I'll say it again, but we also have some data to look at here. But real quick, I have people calling me weekly, daily, and they're saying, I'm sick of renting, regardless of what the media frenzy says about high interest rates or, it's not good to own a home. I need to get out of this apartment and to buy a house. So we'll just look at some of this data right here. As you can see, the mortgage rates, they've held steady at about 6 1/8 last week. It's about down 1% over the last 4 months, which is huge, right? I've had people that have in my pipeline, that were quoted 7.5, a couple months ago. They haven't found a house yet. They finally found a house, and I'm at, depending on program, either 6, 6.5. If it's FHA, we're down into the 5s. So we haven't seen that in a long time. So that just goes to show you rates are coming down, right? Purchase applications, they are still up 1% since last week. Now, refinances, they've ticked down just a little bit, but still year over year, we are in the positive there. So this kind of goes to show you about the marry the house, date the rate. Buy the house, get into the house, because you lock in that sales price when you purchase that house, right? You buy a house for $350,000 at a 6.5% rate. Well, that house is going to be $350,000 or above when you refinance it. It's not going to go down. It hasn't gone down in years. The only last time it went down was in the recession, which is, was an anomaly. But you can refinance into a lower rate. So once again, don't wait. Just buy that house if you're looking to purchase, because it's going to get worse once these rates keep on coming down. The rule of thumb and the data shows that when rates come down to at least 1%, 5 million more people enter the market to purchase a home. So don't wait. That's just basically it. Just the data is there. You just don't wait. Now, sorry, I went off on a tangent, but the refinance share, 45% of total applications are refis. So once again, that tells you rates are coming down. If you got locked into a higher rate, we could refinance. I'm working on a bunch of refis as well, saving some clients a couple $100 a month. So on the outlook, when you're looking at, rates, once rates do decline further, the purchase volume will increase. It's just supply and demand, easy as that. When inventory changes, it's going to be, it's going to be a battle out there. So I know. I just do mortgages, and I just want to sell a mortgage. That's true. I do. You're right. I want to feed my family, but I still, if you're looking to purchase a home, it's just buy it now.
So we got Hurricane Helene dropping in 2024, and NBC reported 200 dead. And this is a very serious matter. We may joke in this segment a little bit, so don't get your feelings hurt. But Angelo, the question is, should Hurricane Helene, that has tackled North Carolina and cities like Asheville in North Carolina, should this deter people from buying a home in North Carolina?
Man, first and foremost, thoughts and prayers out to everybody that in the Western North Carolina area that was, affected by this storm. It is just devastating to see some of the cities. Chimney Rock was literally, it doesn't even exist anymore. It's a little city in the Western North Carolina. It's just, it's so bad. So hearts, thoughts and prayers go out. But, we were talking about this before, Gavin. Do you make a purchase based on fear, right? Like, do you not, maybe certain things, if 100%, like you live in California, Gavin, if you know that an earthquake is going to hit in the next 6 months, it's without a doubt for certain. Are you going to buy a house in that area? Probably not. We don't know. It's a natural disaster. North Carolina is a big state, and it was basically isolated, not isolated, but, a majority of the big damage was in the Western North Carolina area, in Asheville. It's going to take years, decades to recover from this. So, it's a natural disaster. Can you hide from things? Can you be scared? Yeah, you can, but if you want to live your life in fear, that's all you, right? So, that should not deter you, to buy a house in North Carolina, because there's still great cities. There's still big cities. You have Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, Hickory, Fayetteville. We have all these other cities, right, that's not in the Western, mountain area, right? And who knew that there was going to be so much rain in the mountains that it would basically become a river up there, right? Or just dams would, explode. And I could get into it, but you just don't know. So, even if you wanted to buy a house in Western North Carolina right now, you probably couldn't, because you can't get there anyways. So yeah, man. So let me
hop in here, Angela. Let me hop in here. I want to discuss this really quick.
Go ahead.
I feel like in the 20th and 21st century, we have gotten so comfortable as a society, and things like natural disasters are like, the epitome of our lives. But these things do occur. And we were discussing, and it's like, natural disasters happen everywhere, right? And I was just thinking, I live in California. Yeah. I live in Huntington Beach. I think about the natural disasters that have just occurred recently. You have earthquakes. You had Hurricane Hilary last year, which flooded some LA cities here. You have wildfires. My ancestral home in Riverside, well, not my ancestral home, but my family home in Riverside is constantly surrounded by wildfires, okay? I'm on the complete opposite side of Angelo on the coast here. On being on the West Coast, he's on the East Coast, right? There are natural disasters that occur everywhere, Angelo. And it's like, do we take that into account? We should. But these things happen everywhere. So what are you going to do? Where are you going to move?
I mean, I guess you could live under a rock, but you're still going to get, you're still going to get hit by something. What do? You just, hope for the best, honestly. Legit. I mean, what are you going to do? You have to live somewhere, so you just have to pick and choose where you're going to live, right? So I guess in this whole discussion, what are you least scared about? Are you least scared about a hurricane? Are you least scared about an earthquake? Are you least scared about a tornado? Then if that's what you're least scared of, then maybe go live there, right? So
yeah,
that's all I can say.
Some might say it's a false equivalency, but I know many people that are deadly afraid of the things that I see in California all the time, especially the wildfires, right? People are deadly afraid of that. And I grew up, I'm constantly sometimes in fear of my home burning down in Riverside. And so, but I've kind of gotten over that because, this dust and debris, they catch fire, or you have stupid kids, lighting off fireworks, and this, the brush fire, and they catch on fire, so these things happen, right? But Angelo, maybe the message should be, it's like, okay, these things do happen in our world. Recognize that, but take action, take preventative measures for your home, right? And have an escape plan. I know a bunch of people in Asheville, their homes were flooded and floated away or are underwater, and they were told to evacuate, right? But there are measures that you can take like that to get things out of your home and exit Asheville, okay? So there are measures that you can take. Yes, your home's underwater, and I hope you have, flood insurance to take care of that and, to save your home. But that's the only measures you can take. Because consider here, there are natural disasters everywhere, right? And I know we're not a flipping news channel here and discover, natural disasters or whatever. But this is the reality of buying a home, right? These things you have to take into account.
For sure. I mean, there's really no way that you're going to get around not getting hit by one of these natural disasters. It just depends on which natural disaster it is and where that's going to be.
Angela, let's get into some rapid fire questions here to help maybe people that are first-time home buyers, maybe people that are going to move up, maybe people that are students that are looking to buy a home. We are going to get into some of these rapid fire questions. Give me your best responses. Let's go first here. Okay. What is the biggest concern people have when buying a home?
Well, it's funny you asked that, Gavin. I actually did a poll question this morning on the way back from the gym asking this exact question. And the biggest response was interest rate. So let's go ahead and tackle that. If that is what they're scared of, strategy. There are ways to offset or help to ease that pain point when it comes to temporary buy downs, permanent buy downs, seller concessions to pay for those. So I wouldn't let that deter you from purchasing a home. And also too, as we see, rates are coming down. So that shouldn't be, or if that is a pain point, that should be starting to reduce as a pain point, making you think maybe I should start looking to purchase a home.
Can I buy a house with less than 20% down?
Yes. You can buy a house with less than 20% down. 3% is the minimum for conventional. 3.5% is a minimum for FHA. USDA loans are 0% down. VA loans are also 0% down. Of course, closing costs and prepaids come into play on top of the actual percentage down. But there's a lot of grant programs too when it comes to down payment assistance, forgivable grants, and a lot of down payment assistance that doesn't go away, right? That's got strings attached. So many options when it comes to that.
How do closing costs factor into my overall budget?
So you definitely want to factor in closing costs. You would probably, rule of thumb, 2% of the sales price was what you want to factor in for your closing costs on top of the down payment. Once again, if it's depending on the market, depending on the the demand for the home, you may be able to get the seller to pay for some of those costs, if not all of them. We received 2 contracts this week that had $1,800 in seller paid closing costs and $9,700 in seller paid closing costs. So you can do a lot with that money, right? You can put it towards a buy down, pay for all of your taxes, insurance, a majority of your closing costs, or you can mix it up. You don't have to put it towards one or the other. You can spread it out. So there's, once again, ways to get, to kind of help with those costs.
What's the impact of my student loans on getting a mortgage?
A huge impact. Now, don't be like one of those people waiting for them to be forgiven, because I don't think that's going to be happening anymore. I do talk to quite a few people saying that they're just not going to pay them because they're going to be forgiven. We still have to factor that in, because who knows when or if that will ever happen, which it's probably not going to happen. So we know that you are going to be hit with that debt at some point in time, even if it's currently deferred. So we have to use a factor depending on if it's FHA, Fannie, Freddie. FHA is 0.5% of the balance, and Fannie Mae is 1% of the balance. So just depending on which loan program we need to put you into, if it helps flipping you into an FHA program to help reduce that debt ratio because of the student loans, we can do that.
Is private mortgage insurance, or PMI, mandatory, and how does it work?
It is mandatory on conventional loans if you do not put more than 20% down. And it is also mandatory on FHA and VA and USDA loans, if regardless if you put any money down on those. Now, there will be a different factor if you do put money down on some of those programs. Some VA, if you are exempt from the funding fee, you don't have to pay them if you have a disability. So, but yes, they're all basically mandatory. For conventional loans, that you won't have to pay any private mortgage insurance if you put 20% down payment.
Team, a lot of information here. We discussed new mortgage application data from MBA. Very helpful with interest rates coming down. You got mortgage application data, mortgage applications picking up. Refinance is still high year over year, even though they tick down a little bit. These are all things giving you the telltale sign we are on the turn, right, Angelo? So what should you do? Probably buy your home now and not wait for that competition. Any closing remarks here, Angelo?
No, just once again, thoughts going out to Western North Carolina, the impact done there. Hopefully this administration gets it right and can take care of them and stop funding other countries. So that's all I got to say.
Their house is floating away, Angelo, and they're supposedly getting $750. Isn't that enough though? $750 for their house?
Yeah, that's for another show.
All right, team. If you've got something valuable here, make sure you leave a like, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.